Good morning, race fans, and welcome to Today at the Races at Laurel Park. Tim Tulloch filling in for Callie Francois, who's on a well-deserved break, joined by Dave Rodman, the voice of Maryland Racing. Dave, it's been a while. We've had a fun summer. It's kind of winded down a little bit.
Well, we're not having as much fun as Keith Fustel, right? I mean, he's having a Pacifico and a taco at the Roberta's Taco Stand out of Del Mar, doing the charts out there, but, you know, we're here.
It's a good thing. A good thing they've got a deep bench because the go-to guys are here for you. And even though we're winding down our summer meet here at Laurel Park before we go up the road to the State Fair, we still have a lot of action here in Maryland. We're going to talk about our August Turf Festival. That's coming up on August 13th, the Bald Eagle, that's $100,000. The Searching Stakes, that's $100,000. And I think we go next weekend, the weekend of the 19th, also for a couple more stakes that particular weekend. But we also have that big champion handicapping tournament coming up.
Yeah, and you know what? I know at least a couple of people who have not attended the Champions Handicapping Tournament last few years. They're coming back this year, so it's always a good deal. See your handicapping friends, test your skills. Saturday, August 19th, laurelpark.com for details and registration information, expecting a larger than usual crowd this year.
And the action will continue all the way through August here at the Maryland Jockey Club at Laurel Park. Let's take a quick look outside, Dave. A little overcast. The temperature is just as nice as it could be for August.
Yeah, really cool. 72 degrees for August right now here at Laurel Park. Cloudy skies, a little spit of rain or two this morning, but nothing to affect the main track nor the turf course. Fast and firm for today.
It was just enough this morning during training just to keep the dust down here. It didn't really even soak any roads. It was really quite pleasant all morning, and it will be quite pleasant all afternoon. Speaking of this afternoon, let's dig into this card. Race 1 kicks off the early pick 5, as always. 50-cent minimum, 12% industry low takeout mandatory payout in the early pick 5. Race 1 is for 3-year-olds and up, going 3/4 of a mile for horses haven't won a race in 6 months or never won 4. And your top pick in this event is the 6th, the Cairo Kid, for the red hot Annette Eubanks. Dave, she's been firing all over the place. And we're going to take a look back at his race from March 31st right here at Laurel Park. And this was a starter 5,000 race.
Yeah, the Top Boss, the eventual winner of this race, was 3 to 5s. They're in the pink silks down to the inside. But the Cairo Kid, anytime he can get a good spot tactically close to the pace with a good break from the gate, is going to give his best. He failed to fire after this race over at Pimlico Crosstown. Annette Eubanks doing the right thing with a 7-year-old, giving him some time. He likes to run back well fresh. You can see back at Timonium, August 2022, he came off a few months layoff to score going a half mile. You got to be pretty quick out of the gate to win at the Big T going a half mile. So I suspect he's going to be in a good spot today off of speed, and then in a few weeks they'll wheel him right back at the State
at
Fair.
At the Big T. But he's a 6-time winner, 4 times he's found the winner's circle here at Laurel Park. He has that outside draw. He can lead, he can lay, he can do whatever he wants, but I expect that he will probably lay a little bit. I have the 7 on top. This is C now for Kieran McGee. Carlos Lopez gets the call. This is a 12-time winner. He's been in pretty good form since returning from that layoff in May.
Yeah, he's got some early speed. He's going to be up front, near the front. The thing that worries me is Crown Count Cristo has at times had early speed, and Lantau, he's been pretty quick in the past as well. If they let C now get away with it, he might go all the way. The Cairo Kid will be in pursuit. And I'm just hoping that maybe somebody puts some pressure on him early. The Cairo Kid, hopefully with a break from the gate. That's key for him sometimes, you know.
Yes.
He's got to get out there and just sit right off that speed. Though he's gone, he's shown speed to win before at the Big T, but I don't want to see him kind of get hung up in a duel today.
Well, let's talk about the 1 Crown County Cristo for Mario Soare. He's turning back to his favorite distance this afternoon, 3/4 of a mile. He's 7 for 9 in the money, going 3/4 of a mile. And he fired a big race 2 back at Pimlico.
Right, 2 back, and then he was 6 behind Bahama Channel, speaking of Annette Eubanks, right?
Yes.
That horse, Bahama Channel, ran lights out that day to win by 7. That wasn't a fluke. He came back in his next race and duplicated that Beyer speed figure, near duplicated that number next out at Delaware Park. So a reasonable spot today, going back sprinting, which is kind of his game.
It is, yeah.
So he could be tough down to the inside with early speed.
I agree with that. Sprinting is his game, and he gets back to doing that this afternoon. A 7.615 for myself, 6.175, pretty similar in the opener. Let's move to race 2. Race 2 kicks off the early pick 4 in the absence of Keith Fustel. Dave, you put together an early pick 4 ticket for us.
Yeah, and there was a key scratch in the second race, number 2, 5.2, kind of threw me for a loop in there. I kind of like that horse. He came off a good trip to finish second, 2-back sprinting, but she is out. So that kind of changes, I think, the dynamic of the race a little bit. So I went with the other horse on top in there, Princess Palmer. Used that in the pick 4 as well. I'm going to use the 3, 4, and 7. Princess Palmer out of the Go-Go Chanel 5.2 race. 5.2 no longer in here. Using the 3, Sweet Beauty. Anthony Ferrier with a turf win yesterday. I was talking to Callie about that. You know, you think Anthony Ferrier, dirt, claim, sprint, win, right? No, he's a 19% turf sprint trainer. That's I found that I would never have thought that, but that's true. I mean, he's winning turf and dirt. The barn. This horse tries the turf for the first time by McLean's Music. 14% sprint turf sire. Third race, I'm using the 2 and the 3. We'll get to some video specifically of the 2 of their sweet syntax in a bit. Number 4, 5, and 7 in the 4th, going a little deeper there. And then in the 5th race, the 1 and the 5. Can Galerio get over the top today? Or will Armstrong, the horse from Florida, get up with a good trip this afternoon? Those are the 2 I'm using in the 5th. That's an $18 ticket.
Race 2 kicks off the early pick of 4. This is an hours of 2 lifetime 16,000 is the claiming race, going 5.5 furlongs. And speaking of Anthony Ferrier and his turf sprinters, I had Switzer on top yesterday as my price play of the day. Didn't get as much as I'd like, but my top pick in here is a 3, Sweet Beauty. This one's dropping to the lowest level of her career, and she's getting turf for the first time. But I think it works for this horse for Anthony Ferrier.
I didn't see much on the dam side, but as I mentioned, 14% turf sprint sire, McLean's Music, above average winning percentage for that sire on the grass, and 19% on the grass in turf sprint wins. I can see it. 7, 3, and 4. I'm using, as I said, Princess Palmer, who was kind of a victim of the unlucky draw last time out. Post 9, Toledo tried to get this filly over. He kept looking, making sure there was nobody inside of him. Had to spend a lot of time trying to maneuver over. By the time he chased, just tired, 5.2 came closing. I know she's a better filly than that on the grass. She's run better in the past, so I'm leaving her one more chance to wheel back. That turf listed good that day, maybe a little firmer this afternoon, more firm ground for Princess Palmer. Yeah,
I mean, you look at her form, and I agree with you, and you look back on her form, she's capable of better than she has run lately on the grass. If she get back to a couple of those races, it could be good enough. Let's take a quick look at the 4, closer to the heart. Katie Voss. This one had some turf tries last year. Some of them were okay, but we're sprinting this afternoon.
Yeah, and she gets way behind. That's generally in sprints. So I don't see a super quick pace up front in here, but I think she'll come closing in for a share. The one horse is interesting, Ballyhooly, off a year-plus hiatus. They run 3rd at Gulfstream in May of this year. Finished 3rd in that race, came back with a 4th place finish. Hasn't won since, that maiden score, but that was back in October of 2021.
Yeah, and look, she's had no luck in her last 2 races. I mean, she's had excuses in her last 2 races. Ballyhooly, the one, she was wide with a really late move here at Laurel. She broke through the gate the race before, so her luck has not really gone her way. She's got some gas. I think she's probably going to have to use it from the fence.
Yeah, and she was beaten favorite in the Go-Go Chanel 5.2 race there. That my top pick also exits Princess Palmer.
There you go. Race number 2 kicks off the early pick 4, an interesting turf sprint for fillies and mares. Race 3 starts the pick 6 this afternoon on our 8 race card, $9,212 in the pick 6 carryover. I put together a ticket, and I'm going to go 5 deep in race number 3. This is a maiden 20 for 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. I think it's wide open. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Race number 4, I go 3 deep there. I use the 1, the 7, and the 8. The 8, RB's the Boss, my top pick in there, and my price play of the day. We'll talk about that later. In race 5, I'm going to single on Galerio. I think this is a nice spot for him this afternoon. He finds the winner circle once again. Race 6, the 3, 7, and 11. Race 7, I use the 4 and the 7, and finished it out. Race 8, 3, and 7. $36 ticket on the Rainbow pick 6. Race 3, as I mentioned, is a maiden event. 5.5 furlongs on the dirt. 4 maiden 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, and we're going to start with the 2 Sweet Syntax. This is the second time out for Jerry Robb. Let's take a look at his first time out on whatever date that was, because I got it covered. But here you
July
go.
16th, right there. Oh, look at that start. Broke inward, then swerves over to the rail. Greenly down to the inside. Let's do it again there. The 2 with the white blinkers. Whoa.
Yep.
There you go. Highlighted in the whites. A great job there, Phil. Putting that all together for us. And then down the back stretch, made a nice little move and managed to get in range of the pace that day, considering a disastrous start. Rolled up to loom up and using a lot of energy there. But this is a second start. Now it's a fast track by editorial out of Sweet Valor. And that makes this guy half-brother to a little horse named Fee d'Esprit. 14 wins, 26 tries, 14 wins, and $735,000. So there you see a head on there a couple of times with the trouble and a nice little move kind of into contention given the disastrous start. Second start for John Robb the past 3 years, 21% positive ROI.
Good, currently 22%, and this is a horse who showed some really quick works prior to that first start. A minute flat here at Laurel Park before that first start, and things couldn't have gone much worse. It was a muddy track. That's not always the best thing. We saw what happened at the start. But the horse did a lot of good things, ran into that mud, seemed to handle all of that well. So even though it was not a great experience first time out for Sweet Syntax, he may benefit immensely from having that first time out. I have the 3, John Robb's other entry, Dowsing Rod, on top, won that race that you just saw, earned a big figure while winning reasonably, getting beat.
Third in the race,
third,
yeah.
61 Beyer speed figure. If he runs back to that type of number on the main track as a fast main track, he's going to be tough.
Right. Now, let's hope Sweet Syntax doesn't get a habit of that kind of break out of the gate, right? Because then Dowsing Rod will be in a prime spot as he was last time out to try to take them all the way. 2 Robb horses are very dangerous in here. One's a 3-1 in the line, one 9-5. It went for a little higher price there, and a pedigree on the older horse, too.
And the 1 moon set for Charles Fox first off the claim, 14%. So that's right within the industry norm. And Mr. Fox having a solid year. He's hitting 19%.
Yeah, claim for 12.5. They bump him up and say 20. We think we got something here. We finished second behind Love You Bye Bye, who improved 7 Beyer points in his very next start after the maiden score. 2 races back, though, he was beaten by Pulsar, who came into the race a 19-race maiden. So, they've got
every dog has his day.
They've got some options with this horse. I think he'll be tactically placed in the spot with the rail and some speed. But I think the mayor of the Timonium might be getting one ready there in Moonset, Snake Frock and crew. The flock of frocks, as we say, right?
The Snake Fox, the mayor, wherever he goes, he'll be the mayor here at Laurel, possibly. Race 3 kicks off the Rainbow pick 6. Let's move on to race number 4. This is a state-bred first-level allowance race going 5.5 furlongs on the turf. It does kick off the late pick 5 this afternoon on our 8-race card. We're going to start with your top pick. This is the 7, Sue Loves Barbados. We're going to go back and look at his race from June 9th up at Delaware Park.
Now, on the turf, June 9th, 7.5. Now, this is 5.5. It's a bit of a concern because he lags behind, but watch him in the red cap, okay? When's the rider going to really get after him here with the stick? I'm waiting. No, he was pretty much.
He's got to count.
He just does it on his own. No, I mean, he just did it on his own. Really never felt the crop pretty much the whole way through the stretch. He's got a nice stretch kick. I think he's good right now. A little concerned about the shorter distance at 5.5 furlongs to this horse. But, you know, I'm going to pick this guy in good form right now. Sue Loves Barbados with Duran Barbosa for the Phil Capuano barn. On the Exceller course today. I just think he's in great form.
Yeah, he's in good form, but we've seen him be in good form before. And you look back on his form, he's 0 for 10 on the Laurel turf course, but he does tend to just hang around. That's why I just could not. I really liked this horse earlier in his career, and then he just kind of hung around. I still use him, but I don't trust him. But you're right, he's in good form. That was a good-looking effort there. Let's see if he can get over the hump this afternoon.
How about Royal Spy? Blofeld out of Missy Kim. First time on the turf as well. His full brother is a horse named Bonded, who just scored on the turf here last week here at Laurel Park. Going long, but Linda Albert barn going good guns right now.
Good.
Very consistent on the dirt is Royal Spy. He's a bit of a closer. Maybe doesn't get as far back early as Sue Loves Barbados.
The 8 is RB's The Boss. This is my top pick in here and my price play of the day. We'll talk about that later. Hey, look, this is a horse who got on the turf for his first time in his career last start. He got beat. He ran 7th. Not a great result, but he only got beat 2 3/4 lengths and fired a huge 75 Beyer speed figure. I'm going to go with RB's The Boss in race number 4 to kick off late pick 5.
Kind of a nice wide open little sprint there to kick off at pick 5.
There we go. Race number 5. Before we get to race number 5, why don't we take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Today at the Races. Tim Tulloch alongside Dave Rodman. Let's take a look at race number 5. This is a second level allowance optional race going mile 16th on the main track. Let's start with your top pick. That's the 1 Armstrong for Jose D'Angelo. Mr. Concepcion gets the call. Coming out of an impossible start in the Manila, the grade 3 Manila was what, the 31-1, 30-1 that day, but has some races on his form that could work.
Yeah. They put the blinkers on him 3 back when he broke his maiden, right? That was on the Tapeta at Gulf's race, taken off turf there on the Tapeta. And then he comes back again with another convincing score, improving his figures. Turn to Jose D'Angelo, coming to Maryland, 12 starters, 3 winners, 25%, and a positive ROI. He's got to take on older horses, seasoned horses, really decent field in here today. But he's up-and-comer now horse to me from a barn that's hot. He's got a good draw down to the inside. In his race before the stake, before the Manila, it was a little overnight stake down there at Gulfstream, June 10th. He settled nicely. Right off his speed, rated kindly, then just cruised up there 3 wide in a tactical position, and then took off with a little bit of rousing down the stretch. He's got some more upside to him here as he gets a little bit older.
Well, this race isn't loaded with speed. He's drawn the rail. We know how valuable the rail is going a mile 16th here at Laurel Park. Does he just try to slide on himself right up to the front and try to take a gate to wire? I could see that.
With Axel, yes.
I could see that happening for Armstrong today. He will be running on a main dirt course for the first time in his career this afternoon, but certainly in the mix. Dave and I both
the
like
blinkers
him.
seem to be the turnaround for him, right?
Could be. I mean, certainly there's nothing in his breathing that says he won't handle the main track. He just hasn't been on it as of yet. I'm going to go with the good old Galerio, 7-year-old. He's a 10-time winner of $607,000. He's an 8-time winner here at Laurel Park, and I just feel like he's in decent form. Maybe not as good as form as we've seen him before, but I think it's good enough to handle this group.
Yeah, he was claimed for $50,000. He's yet to get the winner's share, but he's come oh so close to Thomas Shelby, a 12-time winner. Armando R., stakes winner. Plot the Dots was second there, the Jennings, back January of this year. He's yet to get just over the top. 14 seconds from 31 starts, 8 wins. He's going to be reliable. He's going to take a lot of play. He's got more seasoning than Armstrong, that's for sure.
That's no doubt about that. Let's talk real quick about the 6th. Girl dad Sheldon Russell gets the call for Kerry Bryan, coming off a very long layoff and coming out of 5 consecutive over the hedges races, the hurdle races. But on his back form, there are races that could work here. Kerry is pretty good, 24% coming off this type of layoff.
Yeah, I just kind of didn't know what to do with him coming off the hurdles. He should be fit, I can say that. And you know, he doesn't mind going long, and he won at Saratoga, going 1.25 miles off the Turf John's Call back in August 2022. Yeah,
he comes back at the Aqueduct, 1 mile and 3/16. He only gets beat 2 lengths that particular day. Runs an 83 Beyer speed figure that day. Is a lifetime best. Been working well up there at Fair Hill. So we'll see how that shakes out for Girl Dad in race number 5 to kick off the late pick 4. Race 6, that is our super high 5 jackpot race. We've got a little bit of a carryover, $1,622. This race now is a 25,000, going 5.5 furlongs on the grass, and we will start with the 7. Great idea for Phil Capuano. J. Ron Barbosa gets the call. Let's look back from his race from last fall, October 29th, right here at Laurel Park.
Yeah, and he scratched yesterday, you should note, in favor of this spot. I think he's also in tomorrow, too. I guess obviously he runs steady and scratch tomorrow. But he comes rolling here to finish second, October 29th last year at Laurel, behind Aesthetically, who just recently ran his best number on the turf, Beyer up at 72. So you got to think he's going to be a factor here. Great idea. Off time away for Phil Capuano.
He's been working well in the morning. That lifetime best race over a good course last October 9th. That really sticks out where he ran second behind Prince Perry that day. And he certainly, as you saw in the video, will be coming late. I have, who do I have on top? I have
Farrier.
the 3 on top. I've got Ragtime Riches, Farrier again.
Farrier turf angle.
Yeah, I'm going. I'm going to ride that thing until that horse gets too tired. Look at this one's turning back. Farrier pretty good, 27% when he turns one back, dropping in the class this afternoon to this 2 lifetime out of that state bred race. But the state bred race going 5.5 furlongs on the turf on June 9th. The only other appearance while sprinting on the grass. That was a big race. Only got beat a length 3/4 by the Seashore. Be Determined would come out of that race and win. 72 Beyer speed figure. You can run back to that. That's good enough.
Yeah, Warren Roses, another horse who got into some trouble last time out. Light shuffle, you see on the short comment there from Equibase and our great chart callers upstairs, Keith and Bill. It was just a light shuffle, enough to kind of get him away from the contenders into the far turn. Then he ran up toward the leaders. I just thought he should have run second. He was second till the last jump, and here's crazy odds came to grab him just a bit. You know, his momentum looked like he was going to be second in that race. So maybe a clean trip today for War and Roses.
Let's talk about the 11, Dark and Fitzy for Ricky Silliman. Angel Cruz gets the call this afternoon. This is a horse that's coming off a little bit of a layoff. We haven't seen him since March 18th down there at Tampa. 2 for 3, 1-2 on the grass. A winner 2 back while breaking the maiden for the maiden 25. Comes back in the A of the van, gets beat 2 lengths while running second. Now, those races were going long, but the figures are really good. 78, couple 77s. I know we're going short this afternoon, but he's got an outside draw. He showed speed going long, so you would think he'd be able to just keep up enough and come with some finish.
If you're a key race player, he's your horse. 3 winners out of that race. Alianabe, Caronade, Great Britain, and one of them, Great Britain, came back to run a better number than the winner, Smart As Me, a horse that beat Dark and Fitzy. So triple key race. Smart, Dark and Fitzy, the Silliman runner in today's 6, number 11.
That'll be a fun race in race 6 this afternoon. Let's move to race number 7. This is another allowance race, first level allowance race for state breds going 3/4 of a mile, 3-year-olds and up. And both you and I have the 7 on top here. The Wolfman, look, this is a 9-time winner coming here this afternoon. Came off of a layoff, long layoff this past July 14th. Let's look at that video from July 14th. This hadn't run since November 12th. And let's watch the Wolfman roll through the stretch here.
Yeah, he's a 7-time Laurel winner. We thought we'd show you this race from Delaware Park, but it was his comeback race after several months freshening away. He was right on the engine that day with a good trip out too wide, and there he is in the blue colors. Just watch him roll through the stretch. He can go all the way. He could come from off the pace. I've seen him do both, right? Very tactical kind of horse. 9 wins. Comes back to what I think is his favorite track, right? 7 of those 9 wins here at Laurel. And there was like a little breeze through the stretch there. The rider just Carol Sedano just fanning the whip to him through the lane. Gino Vello will be aboard today. Owner-trainer Joanne Schenkel. Looming a short price here as this 9-time winner. The Wolfman.
The Wolfman, 9, 11 for 16. Yeah, there you go, the Wolfman. 11 for 16 here at Laurel Park. And this is a horse who can fire some big figures as he did in that Delaware Park race in 80. That's not uncharacteristic for him. He can do it. You look up and down his form, and you'll see some big, big numbers. I use a 4 Jobologist for Jamie Ness, mostly because of Jamie Ness. But this horse ran very well at this level, going 7/8 of a mile, 2 back, ran behind Super Accelerate, who would come back and win, ran a lifetime best number that particular day, but turns back to the 3/4 of a mile today.
Yeah, hot horse alert, Super Accelerate. You said the name right there. 2 back in the form, then came back to Reddick Solid, second at Park. Very consistent horse, 6-year-old, 9 second times. Second 9 times in his career. Jobologist there. In the 7th race. 2 Calming Storm. Talk about a change of equipment and a change in attitude for this guy, right? Robbie Bales, first 2 starts, hesitated start with the blinkers. Let's take the blinkers off. He looked like a different horse. He beat Payzone, a big favorite that day, in breaking the maiden and boxing Ben. But the way he did it in that final 16th, the final 1/8 of a mile, was very impressive to me. He's a player in here, Calming Storm.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Earned a big number that day, 82, but it was an off-the-turf event. He was clearly pounds the best. It's easy to run a really, really big figure when you're pounds the best. Winner's first time today. And 2 or 3 of his races, as you mentioned, he didn't get away. That's always in the back of my mind. Horses do that, and sometimes they do it again, even after they didn't do it. I still like him a little bit. I didn't end up using him first against winners. The 3 Great Heavens is interesting because this is a horse that just keeps hanging around. Only got beat 2 lengths in an open other than in his last start to Johnny Z's to Albany. That horse can run a little bit, and the other 2 previous races were good races and gets the state breds today.
Yeah, getting back to Calming Storm, said Payzone was the favorite. He was actually second choice in the race. I think he was favored earlier. They went back and forth. Boxing Ben was the favorite in that race. Nonetheless, Payzone had come off of 2 numbers to be favored, second choice in that race, a 59 and a 66 Beyer number. You better have your running shoes on if you're going to take on the Wolfman today with that.
Yeah, right? No doubt. He's a horse to beat, and he's going to be very, very tough to get around. Let's move to the finale, race 8, going a mile and a 16th on the turf course. This is a maiden claiming event, claiming price $45,000. We're going to start with the 5. This is your top pick. Rudy Sanchez-Solomon, heating up again, Rudy Sanchez-Solomon is, and you have a little bit of stat on Rudy.
Well, this horse ran 3rd when he was claimed by 3 lengths to Awesome Strike, and a horse that I have completely written over, that came back to win at a higher level. And then they brought him into Colonial, probably specifically off the claim to run in the Edward Evans stake, and the gates open, he broke kind of with him, and he took through 3 steps, and that was the last you saw of him, really. Didn't do much. But this is the second off the claim. He's back in for the tag today, but not giving up on him, obviously. So I'm going to give him one more shot. Second off the claim for Rudy Solomon. Big win percentage, a positive ROI. It's always been a productive angle. I'm willing to excuse that run in Virginia for Hey Chief.
13 for 16 over the last 2 years.
Yes.
Second off the claim for Rudy Sanchez Solomon. I have the 3 Tio Tony on top for Guadalupe Preciado. Forrest Boyce gets the call.
Got a rider change on his Gino Velo, by the way.
I missed
now.
the rider
Yep.
change.
Mhm.
See?
That's all right.
A little out of practice.
I missed a lot, too.
Oh, that's okay. Here we go. Gino Velo gets the call on Tio Tony. Look, this is a horse. Look, I can just toss that last race, a mile and 3/8 off over a bog at Delaware Park. On the when it says soft, you can admit it's soft at Delaware Park. But it has previous races going a mile at Gulfstream Park, a mile at Delaware Park on a firm course that certainly could work here.
Yeah, another horse I've been kind of following a little bit here is Sneaking Suspicion. I thought I had a good thing from May 26th when I detected some trouble in that race, put him on Stable Mail. He was 20-1 and on the lead, right? And he tried to dig in through the stretch, only beaten 3 lengths, only beaten 2 lengths last time out. Wouldn't surprise me to see him try to get the lead in this spot today, right near the pace, Sneaking Suspicion. Lunar Dash coming off of sprints maybe, but I think they're going to try the go angle with him today. Kind of, if the Rudy Solomon second off the claim doesn't fire, I mean, I've got no idea.
Yeah, it's a Lunar Dash coming out of sprint races, stretching out on the turf for the first time, stretching out on anything for the first time in his life, drawing the rail, probably going to use it. But I want to go back to Seeking Suspicion because I like this horse a little bit, and I like this horse a lot more on the outside. You see, if you go back on his form last October, he didn't get away well. He was ranked early when breaking from the rail in his most recent start. Probably didn't get away the best, and then wants to get too aggressive. I like the outside here today. We know Sheldon can get one to relax out there on the outside. He might just lay 2-3 out of it in the clear, get him to take a breath, and come with some finish.
I'd like to see the horse in the clear because actually that's the reason they kind of spotted him back in May. He was behind horses, kind of looking around a little bit, right? And then he runs big at 20-1 against a similar type field. And then, as you said, rank early last time out. So maybe he just doesn't like to be behind runners or, in behind horses. So maybe in the clear. What do you call it? Catching the clean air, right?
Clean air. NASCAR and horse racing. Clean air. I love it. Love clean air. That's going to do our card. Let's take a quick look at my best bet and price play of the day. My best bet comes in race number 1. That's C now for Kieran McGee. Carlos Lopez gets the call. They're a powerful combination. This one's been really pretty good since returning to the races. Comes back in a similar spot here this afternoon as he ran at Delaware Park in his last start, where he fired his best number since his return. Only got beat a half length, 7-5 on the line. And my price play is in race 4. That's RB's The Boss, taking on the turf for the second time in his career for Jose Mangada. Ran a 75 Beyer speed figure behind a couple okay horses while making his turf debut. Nice outside draw. RB's The Boss, 5-1 on the morning line. My price play of the day. Dave, that's going to do it for us. We got an interesting card this afternoon. Look forward to a big weekend.
Yeah, I've been pretty confident in the picks today. Yesterday was kind of a mishmash, we'll see. When you go in with confidence, sometimes it pays off, sometimes not, right?
That's the way the game goes. Dave Rodman will be right back with scratches and changes. Good luck this afternoon at Laurel Park.
Good luck.